These are extraordinary times for our country. In the midst of all these challenges, however, my single most important responsibility as president is to keep the American people safe. I believe with every fiber of my being that in the long run, we also cannot keep this country safe unless we enlist the power of our most fundamental values. I took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution as Commander-in-Chief. We must never, ever turn our back on its enduring principles for expedience sake. We uphold our most cherished values not only because doing so is right, but because it strengthens our country and it keeps us safe. We've been the nation that has shut down torture chambers and replaced tyranny with the rule of law. That is who we are. Unfortunately, faced with an uncertain threat, our government made a series of hasty decisions. All too often, our government made decisions based on fear rather than foresight. All too often, our government trimmed facts and evidence to fit ideological predispositions. Instead of strategically applying our power and our principles, too often we set those principles aside as luxuries that we could no longer afford. In other words, we went off course. That's why I took several steps upon taking office to better protect the American people. First, I banned the use of so-called enhanced interrogation techniques by the United States of America. I know some have argued that brutal methods like waterboarding were necessary to keep us safe. I could not disagree more. As Commander-in-Chief, I see the intelligence. I bear the responsibility for keeping this country safe. And I categorically reject the assertion that these are the most effective means of interrogation. The second decision that I made was to order the closing of the prison camp at Guantanamo Bay. No question that Guantanamo set back the moral authority that is America's strongest currency in the world. Indeed, the existence of Guantanamo likely created more terrorists around the world than it ever detained. Rather than keeping us safer, the prison at Guantanamo has weakened American national security. Third decision that I made was to order a review of all pending cases at Guantanamo. We're cleaning up something that is quite simply a mess. A misguided experiment that has left in its wake a flood of legal challenges that my administration is forced to deal with on a constant, almost daily basis, and that consumes the time of government officials whose time should be spent on better protecting our country. As president, I refuse to allow this problem to fester. It is my responsibility to solve the problem. Our security interests will not permit us to delay. Our courts won't allow it, and neither should our conscience. We've seen a return of the politicization of these issues that have characterized the last several years. Listening to the recent debate, I've heard words that, frankly, are calculated to scare people rather than educate them. But if we continue to make decisions within a climate of fear, we will make more mistakes. I can stand here today as President of the United States and say without exception or equivocation that we do not torture, and that we will vigorously protect our people while forging a strong and durable framework that allows us to fight terrorism while abiding by the rule of law. Make no mistake, if we fail to turn the page on the approach that was taken over the past several years, then I will not be able to say that as president. Every now and then, there are those who think that America's safety and success requires us to walk away from the sacred principles enshrined in this building. And we hear such voices today. But over the long haul, the American people have resisted that temptation. We can and will defeat al-Qaeda. Because the terrorists can only succeed if they swell their ranks and alienate America from our allies. And they will never be able to do that if we stay true to who we are. We've done so before in times that were more perilous than ours. We will do so once again. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.